The Bahamas Union of Teachers winning a major court battle. The details straight ahead.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, how will changes to the Wyndham Nassau Resort and Casino affect operations? We'll tell you all about it.
And the National Insurance Board is on the road. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The Teachers Union scoring a victory before the courts. It's the weekend and Good Friday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us. It's being viewed as a big win for the Bahamas Teachers Union. After pushing to convene meetings on the grounds of public schools for some time now, the union has finally been given the court's permission to resume that practice.
Well, the ruling was made this morning by the Chief Justice, who also ordered the Ministry of Education to make the information available to all schools. Our friend Carrie has more on that ruling.
After hearing submissions from both sides, Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett revoked a measure put in place by the Ministry of Education late last year. That measure prevented executives of the Bahamas Union of Teachers from conducting business or holding meetings on school campuses. However, the court's ruling means that BUT executives will now be able to do just that. Here's Union Attorney Khalil Parker.
The court, in light of an undertaking given by the government to issue a circular rescinding the previous circular and allowing the union to access school campuses in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement, awarded costs to the union, and basically we are now in the process of determining the wording of that circular.
BUT President Belinda Wilson was pleased with the court's ruling.
Justice has been served today, and it just goes to show that no government or minister is above the law, and this is really a victory for the Bahamas Union of Teachers. So there's some information that our members have not been able to get from us firsthand on the campuses within the last several months, and they're looking forward to seeing their president and their executive officers.
Director of Education Lionel Sands was also present in court for the court's ruling. And now that the BUT has won this court battle, they are not wasting any time. They intend to hold their first meeting at a public high school sometime next week. Lauren Carey, ZNS Network News.
Meanwhile, Education Minister, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, responding to today's court ruling, while he reiterated his ministry's position, he says the Chief Justice's ruling really doesn't change much in the matter, and he doesn't see why the union is celebrating.
We never said they cannot have a meeting. We just said we do not want to have it during the school day. We then wrote to them and we used the word that they shall not have it during the school day. The Chief Justice said that based on the wording in the agreement, we should tell them what our preference is, but we cannot direct them what to do. And so that's all we will do. We will change the word from shall to should, but the principles are very clear what my position is and what the ministry's position is moving forward. And so I don't know whether it's something that the president of the union or the union will be celebrating.
In other court news this Friday, 49-year-old American citizen Albert Joseph Santos was formally arraigned in the South Street Magistrates Court today before Magistrate Samuel McKinney for failing to declare a large amount of cash. The Massachusetts resident pleaded guilty in court for failing to declare over $26,000 in U.S. currency while at Lynden Pindling International Airport last evening. According to police, it was shortly after 6 o'clock when Santos, who was returning to the United States, was when the U.S. Customs and Border Control officers detained him at the pre-clearance departure lounge for failing to declare those funds. Magistrate McKinney ordered that the money be forfeited and warned Santos to obey the law. The visitor was then discharged. Well, President of the National Congress of Trade Unions, John Pinder, confirming to ZNS News today that prison officers are protesting unsanitary working conditions at Her Majesty's prisons, as well as a lack of promotions.
According to reports, nearly half of the prison officers did not show up to work last evening due to their ongoing concerns. Pinder noted that the prison officers are, quote, turning up the heat to cause the authorities to understand what is happening, end quote. A local hotel on the Cable Beach Strip will be known by a new name. The Wyndham Crystal Palace Resort will now be known as the Crystal Palace Training Hotel. Its focus will be on building the country's tourism product. It will also be a key part of Bahamas' hospitality training efforts. Our Janae Noel Ferguson discussed the issue with a senior VP on what this move means for the resort.
We will continue to operate Crystal Palace as we're operating here.
More clarity now on that statement that was made by Robert Sandy Sands, VP for Operations for Bahamas, about a month ago. Hotel executives announced Friday that the Wyndham-branded Crystal Palace Resort will no longer operate under that name. In fact, the popular hotel will now be known as the Crystal Palace Training Hotel. The announcement by Bahamas takes immediate effect. Sands, during a phone interview with ZNS this morning, explained how this move will impact present operations.
It simply means that we have deflagged from the Wyndham, and we will then self-operate the hotel. That's all it means, nothing else.
Sands added that they will continue to book rooms to the general public.
Guests may participate in some of the training, but principally the hotel will be used, the ballrooms, etc., restaurants, etc., will become the training areas.
And what about staffing levels? Sands insisted that present employees won't be impacted by the change.
Nothing changes. All that has changed is that the name from the Wyndham Nassau Resort to the Crystal Palace Training Hotel. This hotel will continue to operate once Bahamas opens. That is correct.
Now, Bahamas executives say the changes are all a part of the long-term goal to establish training for employees to accompany the opening of the Bahamas Resort in 2014. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, developers behind a nearly $1 billion project set for southwestern Providence are seeking to bring Hollywood to Nassau. It's expected to employ thousands and inject millions of dollars into the economy.
And tonight, Sieska Adderley gives you a sneak peek into this unique attraction that's being proposed. It's Aqualux Resort and Casino.
Being described as a mini Disney World, Aqualux Resort and Casino set for the Coral Harbor area will be constructed on a nearly 300-acre plot of land where a 1,000-room hotel, 100,000-square-foot casino, marina, and a high-end shopping mall are all a part of the plans. And at the heart of it will be a world-class theme park, which will also include a 12,000-seat amphitheater. The 1,000-room hotel will consist of a 500-room all-inclusive, 300 high-end rooms, and 200 rooms similar to Comfort Suites in terms of its price points. Hollywood Bay's President Tennyson Wells, who is heading up the development, told ZNS News that he is very optimistic about the project's success, providing a much-needed economic boost for the country. In fact, it is being estimated that the development could inject $10 billion over a 10-year period.
There's nothing like this in the times of the theme park in the Caribbean of the world, in this part of the world. And the theme park is being backed by Microsoft. The services, the services that is going to be, the technology, it's Microsoft technology that is going to be put in place. And some of the people who are parties or partners in this venture are Microsoft certified.
After taking 6 months to complete its financial program, Wells pointed out how developers are currently in talks with investors that could provide the equity funding. That process, he estimates, will take a couple of months to complete, but overall, Wells expressed confidence with how the project is progressing.
In this particular case that we are talking about, we are offering up to 50% of this, of the equity to Bahamians who would want to participate in it, and we're going to have a public offering. If they participate, they will get the dollar value for their shares, for their investment, or dollar value in shares for the investment.
Once the project is approved by the government, Wells says construction will begin immediately and the build-out could take approximately 3 years to complete. Between 5,000 and 6,000 Bahamians will be employed as a result of this project. Sieska Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Still to come, students parade through the streets of the capital saying no to child abuse.
And 40 days of prayer kicked off last night. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.